Дуру салам, как вы поживаете? Мне очень хорошо, ну хорошо. So, Jan Blachovicz contra Glover Texeria. Okay, so I watched Glover a little bit, and that guy is impressive. That is a dangerous motherfucker. Conchita madre. Eso. Incredible. Okay, that's a scary guy. That is a scary guy. A big, powerful man who is very good at guard position with a great sweep game. He baits people. He makes people give him the back. Like, it's impressive how much he makes people give him the back. And he's a knockout artist with one shot pop, one hitter quitter kind of pop. Doesn't necessarily do one hitter quitter a lot. Heavy handed, and he has got a shimmy-waza game that is very on point. He has got a pull. He can pull you to guard from just about anywhere, and his top control game is crushing. He is not a cupcake, knees in, top control, fishing for sub kind of guy. He is I'm going to crush you and take a head and arm choke or whatever, Munson choke, whatever's there. But he crushes and mounts very, very well. And then again, somehow I have the feeling that Blachovicz is going to win. I don't know how Blachovicz does it. So every time Jan Blachovicz fights, I always fall in love with the other guy. And I never the big boys are very hard for me. They're very hard for me to assess, number one. And I mean, I'm usually in their weight category, so this would be my competition, and I have time judging it because my game, is we're going to the ground, and I'm going to, like, I know how to rest in Niwaza. So I just crush people and do what Glover Texeria does. I do a lot of what he does, especially if I'm forced to play guard position. Like if I'm doing a grappling tournament where it's Brazilian rules, or just grappling with people in Brazilian rules, I try to play a lot like Glover. So guys, this is going, that's going to be a good fight. Okay, this is just bonus. This is just for the fans, for the hardcore motherfuckers, the Henry Mafia motherfuckers. What's a good name for you guys? You know what? You guys come up with a name for you guys. The Calari Mafia. I don't know. See, that's the horn. You guys need to come up with a name for yourselves. But yeah, the only reason why I didn't come on here and just laud on Glover and say, oh, Jan's got to do this, Jan's got to do that to beat him, is because how many times we've done this? Every time I have analyzed the Blachovicz fight, I just think the other guy is amazing. And then I watch the tape until I pick apart one thing that the other guy doesn't do perfect, and then Blachovicz wins no matter what I say. And it's usually the thing that I'm telling him not to do. I'm like, hey man, don't sit there and trade hands with this guy, because he's got a mighty left. And then what does he do? He just stands up left-handed, knocks him out. All right, man. You're obviously an elite fighter, and you got the it thing, the thing that you can't teach, the thing that you can't study, the thing that you can't analyze. You just know it when you see it, and Blachovicz has it. He's an old man that just keeps wiping the floor with people. And although I did see a lot in Glover, God bless, dude. If you could learn how to do Brazilian jiu-jitsu like that, I mean, have a just a beautiful striking package, Not need, just use low kicks, Justin Gaethje style, just good strikes, good low kicks, get in close, pull them down, and then just go for sweeps. Put them in guard, high guard, try to submit them. If they don't do that, transition to the back, take the back, try to choke them. If they don't do that, then just keep sweeping and rolling and keep sweeping and rolling. And that's my favorite kind of Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And this guy has got it. I mean, everybody gives him, dude. So no one ever wants to give up their back. No one does. No one does. And you don't want to give up your back to a Brazilian jiu-jitsu player because you know they're going to try to choke you out. That's their thing. They want to choke you out because some Gracie somewhere said, hey, man, you can't fight if you can't breathe. And so the rest of them took Shimiwaza from guard as like the calling card. It's their signature. They want to choke you out from guard somehow. And Glover does that as good as I have seen. And the fact that this is kind of the guy that would be in my weight class, I see a lot of stuff that he does where he rests in Niwaza. He knows how to weigh on you and make you hypoxic, make your breathing have trouble. And he's here. He's got a good, I call it the seatbelt. It's where you're grabbing and you're not grabbing to have grips. It's where you're resting on a person just to make them work out of it a little bit because you're trying to bait them to sweep them one way or another, or see where they put their weight so that you can sweep them one way or another. And man, Glover is good. Glover is good. See, he's not Charles Oliveira. He doesn't have like next level gymnastic looking, he doesn't have a Brazilian jiu-jitsu game that looks like he's like doing taekwondo, it doesn't look next level because he doesn't need it. He uses his body very, very well. He applies pressure very, very well. He applies weight very, very well. And then somehow I think Blachovicz is going to win. I don't know how. There's guys that I don't bet on. I don't bet against. There's just guys that have proven that they figure it out. Khabib Nurmagomedov, значит, Premier. Первый. I don't bet against Khabib Nurmagomedov. He is retired. I still don't bet against Khabib Nurmagomedov. If a giant came out of the woods and said, I am the demon Makalaka, and I'm here to fight Khabib, I'm like, all right, man, let's see how Khabib's going to finish this. That's just how I feel. In that, unless someone beats Islam Makhachev, I'm not going to bet against Islam Makhachev, Jan Blachovicz is in that same category because, again, I'll say it again. I keep talking in circles, repeating the same thing. And it's this. It's every time I see a guy, I fall in love with the guy, and then Blachovicz beats him. So I'm sure that I will watch the tape and I will see one tiny stupid thing that Glover does that, one thing is that he does, if I was going to fight him, I would wait for him to take his wide stance because once he does that, he's set. His weight is set. It's sumo, which means that it can only go, it's easy to go forward, it's easy to go backwards, but it's not easy to go side to side. You need to, when your feet are wide, you have to launch a little more. You're powerful side to side, you're just a bit slower. So if I can get around one leg, I can do a lot of Yoko Wakari, Yoko to the side. I could do a lot of suicides to the side. I could do a lot of sweeps to the side. There's a lot of things to do. So once I see someone line up in sumo, the very first thing I'm trying to do is cut a 45-degree angle and attack one leg because in order for him to push off, he's got to push off with momentum, and I can use that momentum to do just about anything I want. So there's one itty-bitty thing. But in order for him to get to sumo like that, that means that he's comfortable landing bombs on you. So it's a stupid little bitty thing that doesn't mean much. Okay, yeah, when the dude's throwing bombs, you can attack him at an angle sideways. Right, cool. But you're also talking about a great shimiwaza headhunter who is looking for you to attack, and anytime you turn a shoulder, he wants to take your back. So it's stupid. It doesn't really mean a lot. But when it comes to the big boys, I know especially the very first thing I'm trying to do is get the other guy tired. I want to press the button on the ribs and really hurt the breathing, and I want to go down quickly. I do massive amounts of judo because I want to go down the way I want to go down, and I want you to go down hard first, versus doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu where I'm just trying to flow down and then seek a little advantage here and attack it. And going down and seeking the subtle advantage and attacking it is what Glover does magnificently. I would see him. He'd be the kind of guy I'd watch him fight a couple of dudes in a round robin, or I'd go to a new gym and I'd see him just choke people out, and I'd just be like, okay, when it's my turn, I am given, whatever it is, an ouchigari. I'm giving it everything. And that's how I would take him down. I would attack. I would do a morote style ouchigari around the waist and then try to jump guard. Now I know, why would I go into guard against a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu player that's really, really, really good in guard? It's because if I take him down that way, I could probably get him next to the cage. And that way, and the rule sets are different, right, in the UFC. So if I'm coming in for an ouchi, which is the heel sweep, if you know what an ouchi is, and hug the waist, I can drive him to the cage, and if I can drive him to the cage, then his big, massive hands, he's got to hit me like this, which isn't, the way he knocking people out, obviously. So that would be my type of thing, and just deal with having to come out of guard. Because if you do it right, you're working out a half guard, and it's a 50-50, and yeah, he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I'm on top. So all my judo, all my sambo, even all my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I play Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I hammer on them because they definitely do some things that I don't like. But if you're elite at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you are a bad motherfucker, and you are tough to play. Tough. Anytime you have a senior belt purple and up that can master guard retention, they're hard to play, man. You get all wore out and they just get an ab workout, but they do 6 hours of this crap every day. So anyway, as I digress. So Blachovicz. What I see Blachovicz doing is everything I wouldn't do. Everything I would tell him not to do. Don't stand there and trade bombs. He's probably going to stand there and trade bombs. And then it's probably going to go down. He's probably going to do some sort of ouchi or kouchi or morotegari and land on top and then just have to deal with passing guard. Because I would be like, don't go into guard with Glover. Don't do it. Don't do it, Jan. And I would probably say, don't trade hands with them, and don't get next to his power hand, and he'll probably get next to his power hand and trade hands with him and then attack him to go to guard just to be on top, and then probably do some sort of variation of guard escape into Keisa Gatami, some sort of Keisa or Yoko Shiho Gatami or something like that, which is getting out of. So you got to pass full guard on the way down. You got to land in half guard, or you got to jump guard on the way down. Being able to jump out of guard for somebody who is nasty and just a brutal, fantastic player at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're not. I'm sorry, I farted. You know what? This is this is just for the fans. Anyway, so what would I do? How do I see this going? That's how I see it going. Everything that I wouldn't do, again, let me just repeat myself one more time. Because when it comes to guys like Blachovicz, good counter punchers, good strikers, one hitter quitter, it's just so hard to call the fight. Because everything that you would coach somebody to do is their game. They're going to walk in there and do it. And Blachovicz, he's just a nasty dude. He always figures out a way. And since I don't, you kind of like, all right, man, you're going to really try to hide your head. Because Glover, he invents reach by striking and then knowing where to put his head so that the counters kind of ricochet off of him. Or he hides the punch by bending over and then getting you with the jab or a hook. And it's pretty nasty. So, but in doing that, he breaks posture. And so if it was up to me, I would see him break posture and I would go, I'd probably just, try to shoot. But I would like to wrap up the waist and then go kind of Ashiguruma with the trip or valley drop. I don't know if that's the same thing or if it's a slight variation. But I would do it. I would like to wrap up the waist Islam Makhachev style and then trip. But I think that, Glover is elite enough to see that kind of thing coming and kind of know how to defend it. But when it's, wow, what a fight, what a thing. But these two guys, yeah, I'm probably going to do everything that I would warn against, and somehow Jan probably will find a way to win because, I learned with Robert Whitaker, when somebody's a champ and I can't see the thing that, like they're winning and I just don't get it, but they do that thing to everybody. Like Robert Whitaker always kept everybody at distance, and I couldn't figure out how he did it. And I couldn't figure out how he landed so many strikes, but I knew that he just did it to everybody. So I go with the champ. And I don't see anything that Glover does that isn't something that Blachovicz hasn't faced. The only thing that I would say is that I think he's got a lot more well-rounded game than a lot of the guys that he fought. Who was that guy, Dominic Reyes, that only had one side was better than the other side, and then Blachovicz, beat him like a rented mule. So this is obviously going to be closer and tougher than that. I'm just going to go with Blachovicz, just because he's got the thing, and until someone beats him, like, I don't know how you can beat him, because every time I tell him what not to do in these little videos, he goes and just does what he wants and wins. So much respect to the champ. Do свидания. Хорда. Hafiz.